last handful of minutes, I know that NICE has a 5-year plan. Can
Yeah.
you delineate for our listeners what that is?
Yeah, great. So I think the our 5-year plan is to say already we are one of the biggest medicines, devices, diagnostics, and digital and guideline creators in the world. So firstly, and most importantly, is let's keep that magic. And we think that magic is encapsulated in independence, rigor, and transparency. So we can't dilute those in any way. But the world around us is changing, and the society we serve, as well as the health and care system, have been pretty clear that they need us to be add 4 strengths to our bow. And those strengths are timeliness, usability, relevance, and impact. So I'll talk a little bit about those. So in terms of relevance, we're hearing loud and clear, we need to go where the biggest health gains are given, are likely to be realized, not where the evidence is easiest to interpret.
Okay.
And that's why we've really jumped in kind of feet and all with the with digital health technology. So for example, we recommended 20 last year, and have had to modify to some extent our assessment approaches, but we've also had to develop data collection processes alongside the use of digital technologies, because sometimes they don't have the evidence to fully recommend them. So that's something about being more relevant and going where the innovation is, not just staying in your swim lane. The second thing we've heard is that we need to be more timely. And this is part of what you're saying, you know, the future involves empowered patients. Empowered patients want the medicines when they're, you know, when they get a license. They don't want to wait for HTA bodies. So we've done a lot of work on more proportionate approaches to appraisal, where we keep the rigor, but we strip out some of the unnecessary parts of what we were doing. And that's led to us being about 17% quicker with our appraisals last year, and we're targeting another 15% quicker this year. So we know timeliness is a big part. Don't throw away the rigor, but keep the only do what kind of is material for patients and clinicians. The third thing is more usable. We've talked about this, right? Patients are an audience, carers, family members, as well as the whole specialist work, the whole clinical workforce, which in future will include community workers, pharmacists, physician assistants, and they need pithy short summaries of what NICE says. They can't be reading 50-page PDFs on an impenetrable website. So it's more usable. And then the last is demonstrable impact, where we sort of can't wall ourselves off and go, well, we've given you the advice, whether you use it or not is not our concern. We need to see, actually, are people using our advice? So with this, we're setting up systems whereby we can track our recommendations using real world evidence, not for all of them, but for some of the key recommendations, particularly around our guidelines in key clinical areas. And then if we see our guidance isn't being followed, to understand, is it because there's something wrong with our guidance, it's impractical, or is it there something that the health system could do to follow our guidance better, and then communicate to the different parts of the health system about where the variability is. So I think that's kind of the future. Keep the magic of today, but add relevance, timeliness, usability, and focus on impact.